Hi, I'm reviewing another coffee stout because there are a whole bunch coming out these days and I like them, at least more so than most other stouts. And I'm having one brewed with meat, or should I say a meat product. It's the beer for breakfast stout, not regular Founder's breakfast stout, from Dogfish Head with a silly, kind of offensive label. At least aesthetically offensive to me. They're always kind of a mess of things going on, but that's like some kind of a pig in flannel and things. But the whole thing about this one is that it has maple syrup, coffee, brewed with coffee and with coffee added. So I think they add cold brew. And there's Scrapple used in the brewing of this. So Scrapple is a meat product I've never had. It seems like it's somewhat spam-like, except that they use actual cornmeal and wheat flour in it with a bunch of other spices that are secret, I guess. So there are spices in this which aren't listed, and I don't know, couldn't figure out on the website. But Scrapple is just like pork scraps that they mix together with pork stock and stuff into a loaf and you fry it up. I've never had it. It's more of a mid-Atlantic thing, I guess. But in addition to that, they use a whole bunch of interesting malts and sugars too. I guess there's applewood smoked two-row malt in this beer, along with a bunch of other specialty malts, and also molasses and brown sugar, and that might be all the weird things that I need to tell. But that's how a lot of Dogfish Head beers are like it. They have a big grocery list of weird ingredients. But I heard this one's mainly just coffee forward, which sounds pretty good to me, and also if there's some maple notes sticking out. It's 7.4% alcohol. I think this is the first time they've released this beer widely, but they've been doing small batches of it at their small brew pub, I guess, for a while. I remember seeing from a series from 2010, I think, them brewing it there in a very small batch, and they throw the scrapplers right in the boil, look like. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks like I was expecting. It wasn't motor oil black. The head is not super dark, but it looks like a coffee stout to me. I'm smelling some roasty, very smoky coffee. Ooh, it seems like there's a good amount of sweetness though still. Yeah, I'm noticing some maple syrup in there, even though I thought it was going to be really charred after my first whiff. But it's a lot of really dark but highly sweetened coffee aromas is what I'm getting. Head's sticking around pretty well. I'm not sure if the carbonation is super high though. It looks like it might be a little spritzy. A lot of chocolatey notes. Almost chili chocolate, but doesn't actually have the green chili or capsaicin spice to it. Yeah, but it's just like intense mocha. Not like milk chocolate. It's definitely like super dark chocolate mixed in with some extremely roasted coffee. I don't know if I would say espresso. But yeah, lots of syrupy chocolate going on. Maybe a slight malted milk ball thing. I don't know if I think there might be oats in this too. I'm not sure though. I may have missed that in their big list of ingredients. Ooh, a lot more smoke in the flavor. Not quite as syrupy or full bodied as I thought it would be. Lots of woody smoke in the flavor though. And I think that the maple syrup comes out a little bit more with all that extra woody smoke. Yeah, it turns a little bit foresty in the flavor, and I have no idea what the Scrapple's adding. Just a general savoriness, the woodiness, but I'm pretty sure there's no fat in this, even though there's definitely lots of fat in Scrapple. I don't know how they deal with brewing with something that has a lot of animal fat in it, how they filter it and all that. But the mouthfeel is a little weird. It's medium full. It doesn't have so many unfermented sugars, I feel like. And very light kind of spicing. I don't know if it's cinnamon I could see there being maybe a little nutmeg in this. Yeah, just a generic sort of savory quality. And again, I'd say the mouthfeel is actually more medium. It turns pretty surprisingly dry with a slightly tangy finish. A little bit of a dark fruity esters, I would say, but it's not very bitter. And there's a firm, smoky, roasty quality, but that's not adding to an unpleasant astringency, I would say. And the carbonation is pretty high and spritzy. Well, there's like it almost seems tannic on the tongue with a little bit of acidity. Yeah, it seems. Yeah, it's pretty woody. It's a combination of all that coffee and maybe the maple syrup, and then it being still dry with the smoked malt is making it really woody. It almost seems like it's some sort of oak-aged smoked stout, but it finishes pretty easy. It's very easy to drink. The main added flavor is definitely the coffee. The maple syrup isn't a rich, sweet sort of maple syrup note. It's mainly just kind of woody. Adds helps bring out a little woody vanilla like oak. Yeah, there are just a few flavors in this one. I'm having trouble pinning them down. Maybe that's the influence of the Scrapple, and I guess there's molasses in here too, so that's bringing in a little bit of those really sweet but also really dark flavors. But it makes it work out okay. It's not too molassesy for me, because molasses isn't my favorite caramel-like product. I prefer caramel, but it's very interesting, this beer. It's not quite like the other coffee stouts I've had. It's not super rich like the Trillium PM Dawn that I had, but that was 9%, and but I like it quite a bit. But I guess if you're looking for a really thick, rich, very coffee-forward stout, don't go for this one. It definitely has a strong, smoky, woody element with some sort of light, generic, spicy thing going on. Almost black pepper, actually. That's a good way to describe it. Maybe there's black pepper in the Scrapple, but the black pepper is drying and kind of spicy, but it has a little bit of a fruity element still going on. Yeah, this seems like there's black pepper in it. Oh, and I forgot chicory. Chicory is probably, that might be what's coming out especially. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think they should put black pepper in stouts. Like, I've had some saisons and other things brewed with peppercorns, but usually they combine that with, like, spicy Belgian yeast. But it might work well in a coffee stout, especially if you make something that's pretty sweet and you want to add a little bit of a spiciness. Like, I've had plenty of like chili pepper stouts, but black pepper would work well. But this beer is pretty good. It's not my favorite, but really, really very interesting, and I recommend giving it a try if you're into coffee stouts or smoky things. It will definitely be up your alley, and it's well made, but it's not really that thick, rich, sort of epiphanical experience like the first time you have a really, really awesome cold brew coffee stout. So I'll give it like an 80, 82 or something. Yeah, that's a really cool beer. I think it deserves definitely an 82. So, 82 bags of popcorn with a little bit of instant coffee on the side for a beer for breakfast stout. Good night.